Hi guys, my name is Matt, and in this very quick video, maybe 15 to 20 minutes long, I'm going to try keep it as brief as possible. I'm going to show you guys exactly how I helped Dovy collect just over $92,000 in under 70 days with his system, and helped him monetize this to this number in 70 days. Now, simply put, we helped Dovy build a scalable high ticket funnel using a very simple Instagram to free training to survey qualification to call system, which eventually ended up collecting money from the customer. Now, if you don't know who DovyFX is, it's this guy right here, over 200k followers, and essentially we helped him build out this link in his bio. Now, before I kind of get into this video, like I said at the beginning, I don't really know how long this video is going to be, but what I can guarantee is that if you watch this till the very end, if you are a finance creator, trading educator, anything within that niche, this is going to help you collect more money. It's going to help you monetize your Instagram, YouTube, whatever you promote on. It's going to help you collect more money from this profile. And what we built for Dovy is a full system from traffic to actually collecting the money, and the full system in between. So you're going to see everything. You're going to see exactly how we did this. So make sure you stick around till the end of this video, because you can implement this as soon as I have finished speaking. So just to basically go through, I'll just make myself a bit smaller here. There we go. Just to basically go through exactly what we did for Dovy, I'm going to basically show you what he was doing before. So before we basically came into this product, Dovy had a $47 to $197 price point low ticket. He had no leverage, he was handling pretty much everything himself. He had no sales process, and everything was kind of manual that he was doing. He had zero back-end structure, so he wasn't able to basically predict absolutely anything because he had no data to work off of. And as always with low ticket products, they always have a high refund cancel rate, which basically means you're chasing back subscriptions, you're chasing back failed payments, and it is honestly just a very rocky system if you're trying to get to the 20k, 30k, 40k, 50k plus per month with your info product. So to put it very simply, the fix for this was essentially we built him a high ticket product. We essentially put together a 3k to 7k per client. His actual offer was 2k, 3k and 7k, and I will go through all this as we go down, but that's essentially what we did for him to help fix this issue. We also implemented an auto qualification survey, so we could qualify the prospects before and result in only serious leads. We installed a CRM plus an onboarding system, which means we had all the data we needed to optimize and scale this in the future. And instead of this bollocks here, we built a story-led webinar training, which I'm going to break down in depth for you further down. And this essentially resulted in 80 to 90% retention, meaning we're only speaking to serious leads, and also paid in full, PIF, which means paid in full. And kind of the result of this is that we turned Dovy's chaos of a system, I'm telling you now, everything was so messy, into 92,000 collected in under 70 days. And what I'm going to show you further down, I put together a bunch of screens. It's going to go in depth into absolutely everything that we did for him, and I'm going to show you that very, very shortly. But to keep this video very structured, I've essentially structured it as from flow down. So we start with the traffic, we go into his lead magnet and how we booked the calls, and also his webinar. I go into the full sales structure of the closers and how this was structured as well. So make sure you stick around to the end. This video, we're currently on 6 minutes already. maybe it's a bit less. And yeah, we're going to do this properly, so make sure you watch until the end. So just starting off with, you know, what we actually did for him before we even started to get into the system and the funnel and all these other things. We built Dovy an Omnipresence entry strategy, which was essentially a free platform funnel that warmed leads before they even watched the training. You know, because qualifying the leads inside of the training is one thing, but you want to warm them up previously to them even hitting a website or a lead magnet or anything in this nature. We want to warm up the audience so they actually trust you, so they're going to watch through the full webinar and then convert them into a sales call. And of course, I'm going to go through everything. So the first channel that we had was Instagram. And what we really did with Instagram is we wanted to double down on reels and results and lifestyle to basically create curiosity and build social proof. We also wanted to build on the engagement within Instagram, so we use things like daily polls and highlights, and we basically filled these up. So if anyone ever landed on his Instagram page, they would go through all of this first so they can actually start to trust him and know that he is a real trader and he can help people get the same results. And again, we kind of did this with pinned testimonials, so we had different story highlights which would essentially have a different goal per highlight. So one of them would be results, one of them would be lifestyle, one of them would be his own results, testimonials from past students. So what this essentially do is build a trust layer before they even think to click a link in his bio. We also wanted to push really hard on YouTube. So essentially this kind of layer was to build belief with depth. It was the trust engine. It's where people would go from his Instagram to his YouTube to essentially watch long form videos. And we did this by building 30 to 45 minute long form videos, and we essentially trained the editor on everything, including the subtitles, how to build out these videos for his YouTube. And essentially this would position the creator in this aspect, Dovy, as a real expert in this niche. And a result of this is that the viewers felt like they actually knew him before ever booking. And the good thing with YouTube is that if someone watches through a 30 to 45 minute video of his life, they're also going to watch through a 30 to 45 webinar video, which is essentially a sales pitch. And we kind of focus this content on breaking down, you know, the results of his students, his actual methods and mindset shifts, and basically the behind the scenes of his life, so people knew that, you know, Dovy was essentially a real trader and they could trust him. And he also had a Telegram community. So what we use Telegram communities for is essentially, you know, the open rate on Telegram content is super high. So we kind of use this to put together 15 to 30 minute case studies with real students, you know, exactly how this kind of works for the client. So people would go in here and they would see past results from students that have been through this exact same process. And obviously on each kind of video we posted, there was a CTA to the training. And, you know, if you're wondering kind of what the training looks like, it looked as a little something like this. So we would essentially have a very simple opt-in page. So this, you know, maybe max 2 sections. There was some sections underneath this part, but for the structure of this Miro, I wanted to just show you the top header. And essentially when they clicked this button, we would collect their details, and such as email, phone number, name, and then they would be presented with this video, which is essentially a 30 to 45 minute free training video that would go through the full structure. And I'm about to show you the structure after this, but this video is essentially a very key component of this whole flow, because it was built so they would take them through a full sales process in a video which was entertaining, so at the end they could book a call and actually speak to one of our sales closers that would close them on the sale. And, you know, just like I just explained, every piece of traffic was led here. The problem most traders have is that they have maybe 3 to 5 links. They might have their Telegram, they might have their YouTube, they might have, you know, an ebook. They always have multiple links, but with any kind of product like this, you need to have one link, one opt-in, which you can follow up on. And, you know, in this video, we didn't pitch anything yet. As you can see, everything is free. There is no price, there is no product. People actually don't know what anything is until they book a call and until they speak with our closer. So now I'm basically going to go into what exactly the free training video looks like, so you can understand why this is such a key part of this video and of this flow, essentially. So inside the training, there was honestly, this was the biggest part of the project, building the structure. So the first thing we would kind of do is have a relatable hook. So when people jump on the video, they know that Dovy has got people results before. You know, you need to show them people in the same position as the client is in, so it doesn't feel like a pitch. You know, we started off with a good student of Lucas who lost his job during COVID. He was searching for a way to make money, and he lost thousands due to mistakes, which is, you know, the average trading client. They've been through so many issues that they don't know where to go next. After this, we would have social proof. So we would show results of people that have previously been Dovy's student. And this basically helps you build belief very fast by showing real results from real people. The next part of this is to kind of dig into a bit of Dovy's past. So people can kind of relate to him the same way, you know, he didn't come from a rich family, he didn't come from success, he kind of built this up himself, which most people are in the same position. You know, they wasn't fortunate to grow into a rich family or grow into success. So we wanted to frame it as that people who are watching this video was in the same position that Dovy was in. The next part is that we had a visual desire. So essentially the transformation, you know, where Dovy went from and where he is now. So we showed him, you know, on private jets, we showed him in travel locations, you know, networking other people. Of course, these are just screenshots from the free training. There is multiple slides within this free training that we go through, and yeah, this is essentially to show the transformation of where Dovy came from and where he is now. And the third thing, to show this isn't any kind of bullshit, we had to offer a sense of free value. So we actually showed one of his trades in process, which is essentially a back-tested trade, you know, to show that his strategy and what he does work before they can actually understand, you know, how he does it. He showed a little, I think this was like 10 to 15 minutes of value, so they can see that this does work, and it gives them some actionable value to actually understand before they decide to book a call. The last part of this training was essentially for them to schedule a call, and you know, this wasn't positioned as a sales call. It was positioned as an idea that they can jump on this call and they can map out their goals with someone from Dovy's team. And we kind of built a bit of scarcity here, you know, that he will only accept a handful of students. It's only for serious and ambitious traders, and anyone that kind of will be accepted into this program will get results within this program if they follow the steps that he has. And again, this final CTA, it doesn't feel like a sales trap or a pitch. It feels like the next step for the client and the prospect to get to that next stage in their transformation. And you know, like I kind of said above, this wasn't structured as a webinar. It was a conversion machine disguised as a story. So when people go on this webinar, they don't think they're going to get pitched until the very end, because they can't actually get until the end of the video to schedule a call without going through the rest of the video. Because what we do, you know, on these pages is we lock the video, so they can't, you know, skip in or go to the end to see what they're being pitched. It's locked until they get to the end. So people actually have to go through the full video to even get a chance of scheduling a call. And this bit is a bit more in depth. So basically, when they have watched the webinar, they will get the option to book a call, which looks a little something like this right here. And what we do within this process is we essentially pre-qualify them. Quick coffee break. We pre-qualify them with certain questions to basically see if they're worth jumping on the call with, because the closers, the sale closers, they don't want to jump on a call with someone and them not be a good prospect. They don't want to jump on a call with someone that doesn't have the amount of money they need or be in a right position to actually make the next step. So we qualified them through a series of questions. Firstly, we understood their age, so it helps us essentially assess their life stage and maturity, and if they're young and ambitious or older and serious. We understand their employment as well. It tells us how much time, focus, or stress they're already balancing, and if they're ready to take action. We understood their income as well. We needed to know if they can afford what they're asking for, and this essentially helps us filter out time wasters. We understood as well their current situation, which reveals to us their current pain points, so our sales closers can personalize the call to exactly what is wrong with their situation. We also asked for a reason as to why they wanted even to work with Dovy, and if they can't articulate why they're here, they're honestly not ready to take action. We also looked at their experience, so it tells us, what level of guidance they've had and need up until this point, and for basically the closer to understand if they're a beginner or an intermediate. And again, we asked them basically how much money they would invest basically into this program if they're serious about moving forward, so we could filter out anyone that doesn't have the money to work with them, so we're not wasting time on the calls. And again, this isn't essentially a sales trap, it's basically a respect for both of our time and theirs, so no one is wasting time. The second step was essentially the call which collects the money. Now I'm going to go through the full 4-part call framework, because again, this is a funnel as well. And again, this wasn't a hard pitch. We actually don't pitch anything until after 30 minutes of understanding who they are and if we can help them, and all these little things in between, so we can understand their pain points, and our closer can use these pain points further on when we do actually pitch them. So this is the 4-part call framework. The first thing we did is we did identity mirror. So we mirrored their story back to them based on their survey, and so they felt heard and understood before actually being sold to. We did a real diagnosis of their problem, so we didn't pitch first, we diagnosed. We uncovered the real root cause and framed it as solvable and fast, so the client feels like if they make action, they can get these results and it will be fast. We also did vision crafting, so we walked them through a complete, believable transformation path, and this wasn't any fluff or any hype, it was tactical and customized. And then, of course, at the end, we did a no pressure close. We never asked, do you want to buy? We actually framed the offer as the natural next step for action takers. So people who are serious about wanting to become a full-time trader and get the same results as Dovy, we basically strategize this as the next step for them getting to that goal. And basically what this resulted in was $92,000 to be quite precise. We had $8,000 paid in full. We had a $7,000 deal just through WhatsApp. We had a $3,000 repeat sale, and we also collected $2,000. And these are just a few screenshots from this program. We actually totaled $92,000 in under 90 days, and this is essentially the full process simplified. What we did for him and how we got these results, because if you did actually implement this full system, even a few of these kind of steps, you're definitely going to see more results from what you're doing, because most people just simply don't have a funnel. And obviously my little soft pitch at the end, if you do want help with a funnel like this, we are open to working with serious clients. And we've been doing this for over 8 years. We've helped loads and loads of creators in this niche. We've helped brokers, we've helped prop firms, we've helped so many different niches, but we are creator focused. And again, we build these systems that actually print money. We don't come in with rubbish. We know the systems, we know what works. And if you do want help, or if you're a creator and you want help with a system like this, there'll be a link on this page where you can book a call and speak to me or a team member, and we will see exactly how we can help. But yeah, I wanted to put this quick video together. I hope it helped. I hope now you can start to build this yourself, and if you can't build this yourself, we're here to help. And yeah, book a call with us. Let's see if we can help you. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video, and peace.